But yo,
But yeah.
let's switch it over to some Call of Duty talk because I know a lot of you guys are here for that. This year, man, it's been a wild ride. What are like your overarching thoughts on like the entire year as a whole? You know, up until this point, the start of the CDL.
Well, I love it. Obviously, I think that what's happening this year is close to a 13 or 14-year journey from us being there from the beginning. Like we're literally us three. We're here from that beginning. So we've seen every single iteration of everything that has ever happened in Call of Duty. We were there front row and center because we were there, right? Like we were there in Call of Duty. We saw that competitive scene. We saw it go from game battles to NX gamers.
Yep.
We're the first, I mean, even back then, we're the first sponsored team by a website. You know what I'm saying? Like, you think about it, right? So,
on the forums.
Yeah, right. So, so we had NX gamers, and then from there we went into Call of Duty 4, and then obviously Pro Mod became like a massive thing. So we saw iterations to that. That's when Grizz started making montages in COD 2, but COD 4 with the Matrix, that's when it really took off. And then boom, immediately after that, Sniper Team, the first of its kind, and then boom, and just everything. We've been there from the beginning. So close to 14 years of just going through the motions every single year, recycling on a different cosmetic. And now we've professionalized an esport that we truly created right from the ground up.
Right.
Think about it, right? Like we worked tirelessly by ourselves as a community, thanks, with MLG's help and whatever, before a developer from Activision, gave us a shot finally to put some things. Yeah.
So off that, do people ever ask you like how did you get to this spot? And then I don't know how do you tell them that you've just been here for 14 years? It's so built within you. How do you like? I don't know how to tell you.
I'll tell you how I don't get bored, or how do I get sick of it? How I don't get burnt out. I love playing Call of Duty. I always said if Call of Duty 4 was something that was active every single day, I'd be playing that the same way that I'd like to play intramurals basketball every Wednesday or Thursday.
Facts.
The way that I have in the past, and it's one of my favorite competitive pastimes. And given the opportunity, I would only play that. I have dreams. Okay, boys, I have dreams of creating a 35 and older only league. You know what I'm saying? Where obviously I'm gonna be a goddamn MVP. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you think about it.
Who's gonna be playing in this league?
I guarantee you, there's a lot of 35-year-olds. I don't know any 35-year-old plus in the chat. Don't fucking lie.
There is for sure.
Yeah,
I mean, make it like 27 plus though, because I mean, there's nobody that's that age.
Yeah, you're
playing Call of Duty professionally, other than like Clay and stuff. And some of these guys are on their way out. You know, what I mean? Like Clay and Looney and stuff. Like everybody's so young now, man. And
dude, there's zero chance that I could ever be in a semi-serious match and I kill somebody. I'll never let it live down. I'll never let them live it down ever. Ask Nadeshot, ask Ego, ask Rizma, and ask Solo. What happened to them at the Virginia Beachland when I beat them on land?
Hey, I forgot about that.
You beat them on land?
Yeah.
What game was this?
It was Modern Warfare 3. It was me. Who was it? It was the only one that was missing was pretty much Scump. So it was me, Rambo, Merc, and Big Timer. We
you filled in for step and beat them?
Yeah.
So, guys, like, when would you say like the height of the personality boom in Call of Duty reached its peak, right? Because a lot of people say right now we have some personalities, but not a lot of them make a ton of content and stuff. So, what year was it you think where it was at its peak, where we sort of like said it like we are the content creators?
Black Ops 2. Yeah, think about the amount of storylines, right? Hecz was like literally at our throats somehow, some way, always there. You hold on a second. Yeah.
Do you think?
Anyway, so sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, Hecz was he was a loud one at that time.
That was my daughter looking for my dog. Anyway, so.
Oh yeah, he was. He's so loud because he was winning too. He's still loud right now.
Yeah,
he's still very loud, but he's not winning anything. So he's not winning. Dog in the corner barking like shut up.
But he's not losing either because he's not playing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Well, good point.
you got to give it where it's due. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we had in Black Ops 2 we had Hecz, we had Killa. I was a maniac at that time too. Like everybody was just going nuts. We had Haggy. Like we had a villain, a hero, and then we sort of had like the anti-heroes in complexity, right? So we had like a bunch of these teams that were creating these crazy stories, and I wonder like why that's not a thing anymore. Like why are these huge stories not attached to some of these teams anymore? What do you guys think it is?
Oh
Um,
man, go ahead,
I
Pac.
think that as like salaries are a thing and people are becoming more professional, you don't have the same. You're not gonna get any like Adam Sloss moments, that are just big like that, or people having animosity like that towards each other in public. I don't think that that's going to be the case anymore. If you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
So it's a little bit different now, and I think also. So I guess you could say some like Sloss in the chat just said that's authentic. I'm not saying that it's not authentic now. It's just people have something to protect more nowadays, and they've known each other for such a long time
Yeah.
that they have these conversations more in private. Whereas back in the day, you didn't really even talk to people that weren't on your team or part of your little group.
Yeah. I think it's that. I think that a lot of players are getting, super salaries nowadays where they don't feel that they need to go out and sort of hustle on the sidelines the additional income that you can get. Back in the day, your salaries weren't more than $1,500, which meant that if you streamed and were able to make another $1,000, now you're making a decent enough uh income where you can support yourself doing that, or you can prove to your parents that you can, there's a living to be made in a situation like this. So I think there's a lot of things, but I think that right now we have one of the most interesting times ever, right? Like we have personalities that have been around so long that whether they create the content or not, they're part of they're part of the content. So people who are creating the content are bringing eyeballs, and they're seeing like these massive personalities.
yeah,
I think that from here until the end of Call of Duty, people are going to be running into people like Crimsix, people like Formal, people like Attach, and been like, "Holy shit,
sure.
dude, I've been watching you for 10 fucking years. You're the man." Blah blah blah. Right? Because they're these superhero moments. We're essentially WWE with obviously no fake bullshit that happens. Right? Like no fucked up spawns. You know what I'm saying, none of that shit. Right? But it gives and it lends itself to really be a cultural moment that you get to share with other people. And when you have that, right, when you have a community that shares in the competition, essentially in the storyline that's being created, that creates the sense of like, okay, that's somebody that I'm going to remember for the rest of my life.
But that being said, a lot of those guys that you named, they're kind of older, right? They've been around for a long time. How does the CEO like create more of those types of people? Because let's say in 5 years, let's say Scump, Crim, Formal, Attached, these guys that you're naming aren't playing anymore. Then they were all around in that super huge surge of fans that came in, and they were all had big personalities, and they had to make content to survive. So that's why they have such big brands on top of great performances. How do you do that with current kids coming up who are already getting paid so much and aren't learning how to be on camera, So I'm just wondering how they achieve that.
Man, go ahead, Pac.
I think that what Hector said before was true though. We did this without they built that they like the original Optic Squad. They built that without Activision involvement, without CDL involvement. It's up to I still think that it's up to the individuals and the players to build that up on their own before the CDL does it. I don't think it's something that the CDL can naturally do. I don't know if you can unorganically grow a fan base for a player just because he's good. That people need to have a connection with them and then see them compete on that kind of like high level to build that kind of connection. That's
in sports, performance directly influences like how many fans somebody has. It hasn't been like that in COD in the last few years, but I'm hoping, with CDL and how big the stakes are with everything that starts to happen. Because in other esports, when somebody's frying, they get a ton of fans immediately.
Yeah.
But COD, it hasn't been like that. I've always wondered why that is.
Because there have been people who have created more content, and those fans who necessarily may not have been fans of competitive sort of get introduced to it, and they just want the Nate Shot or the Scump to win because they see them every single day, which means that they have this relationship, whether the creator knows it or not. You develop these sort of routines with people. Like the example that I give always is like Casey Neistat. I used to watch his vlog every single day while I was drinking my coffee. Right. Yeah. Every single day I would wake up, prepare my coffee, and watch him as he's doing that. The day that he didn't upload, my coffee tasted different. You know what I'm saying? And that sort of relationship you build with people. And if you know somebody, you're always going to pick that somebody over the other guy. you know, because you have that it's human nature to root for something that you're familiar with as opposed to strange thing, right? Like people are afraid of things that they don't know. It's same psychology, but you're rooting for the person that you're more familiar with. So because of that, we were able to do that. If you look at Counter-Strike, right? Like think about the amount of personalities that exist out there that don't necessarily create the content, but it's such a massive, massive fan base that I don't know, it's sort of, and nobody's creating content more than somebody else. Therefore, that sort of it's a little bit more spread out.
Yeah. No, I
That's
agree.
true.
Even what Karma said in the chat, I think back in the day, the fans drawn in from Optic love COD and love the game, and it gave much more respect to players in a way. I think so. I think you're on point with that. I mean, obviously, they brought in like a huge surplus of fans, and then a lot of those people dispersed and found people they like. I'm just wondering how some of the young guys can grow, excuse me, specifically from performance. But nobody has the answer to that. Otherwise, everybody would be a star. But I always think it's a good conversation point to have. For you with